Hey y'all, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. I am Felrus, and thank you for joining me to play some Raid Shadow Legends today. Guys, the Hell Hades free-to-play challenge is right around the corner, and with that in mind, I thought it might be fun to do a couple videos on free-to-play champions that anyone can have, anyone can access. You don't have to spend money to get them, that can clear the normal dungeons on stage 20. With that being said, this video is going to be a free-to-play Dragon 20 farm team. Guys, let's get into it. But before we do that, if you want to start a new raid account, you can go ahead and use my link in the description below to be rewarded with a free legendary champion Corrado, as well as 3 free top tier epics like the ones we're about to use as you progress your account, guys. So what is this team and how did we build it? Well, we got to go into the dungeons here and I will show you what I've been using to conquer Dragon Stage 20, guys. All right, it's going to be Whisper, Ugo, Skull Crusher, Geomancer, and oddly enough, Ultimate Gaelic. Now, we're going to take a look at each of these champions, see how they are built, what I did with them, how I did their masteries, if I did their masteries, and how you can do the same on your account, guys. These are all top tier epics, right? Especially Ugo, Whisper, and Geomancer, top tier epics. And Ultimate Gaelic, I think he's a bit underrated. So we're going to take a look at him as well. All right, so if we go into the champion collection, right, I'm going to show you exactly how I did these builds. So the first one that I built, Ultimate Gaelic here. This was the first one that I actually 60'd out of any of these epics because I was dumb enough to feed a Whisper very early on. Before I actually got Ultimate Gaelic, I had a Whisper and I fed her. And that was stupid of me. Guys, don't do that. Do not make my mistake. Do not feed your Whisper. So Ultimate Gaelic, what is he doing exactly? Like, why is he good? Well, on his A3 has an AoE double hitter. Each hit has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff for 2 turns if this champion is under increase attack. Each hit also has a 75% chance of decreasing the turn meter by 20% if the target is under an HP burn debuff. So, does he need accuracy? Yes. Did I build him with accuracy? Not really. I mean, he's at 175 accuracy. You know, we could try to glyph for a little bit more, right? Maybe we could get some pinpoint gear on him, but you know, I didn't really do too much as far as accuracy goes with him. So, but he does have debuffs, right? He has HP burn, he has a pushback, right? On his A2, attacks one enemy. 50% chance of placing HP burn on the target for 2 turns if this champion is under increase attack. Very, very good. He's going to be constantly keeping targets under burn. Decreases the target's turn meter by 25% and places a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns if the attack is critical. Decreases the target's turn meter by 10% if this attack is not critical. So he's going to be self-buffing with increase attack from his A2, which is great because he needs it for his A3 to place burns, and he needs it for his A1 to place burns. On the A1, attacks one enemy, has a 50% chance of placing an HP burn debuff on the target for 2 turns if this champion is under increase attack. That is pretty good. So on every single skill he has a 50% chance to land a burn. One of them's on an AoE, 2 of them are single targets. All right, fills this champion's turn meter by 10% if the attack is critical. Fills this champion's turn meter by 5% if the attack is not critical. So he is going to be constantly gaining from increased attack. He's going to constantly be gaining from critical hits. So this guy is a damage dealer, right? These are on like 3 and 4 turn cooldowns, so very good cooldowns. And then on the passive, fully heals this champion. It instantly removes any stun debuffs whenever an enemy places a stun debuff on this champion. That's on a 3 turn cooldown. So this is great in Clan Boss. This is actually fantastic in Clan Boss. In fact, this dude was my Clan Boss champion for a very, very, very long time. I love Ultimate Gaelic. I have him in Cruelty. You know, he's got the double hit. I could potentially put Nature's Wrath on him. Nature's Wrath wasn't out when I had Cruelty on him because this is an old champion on my account. You know, I've had this guy forever, almost since I started playing the game. And I still think he is great. He is fantastic, and you'll see why as we get to the team here. All right. Oh wait, I did his masteries too. I went down and picked up War Master. Once again, he's in a Clan Boss build, so nothing really, you know, too insane. He would benefit from Helm Smasher. I've got Lore of Steel, I've got Cycle of Magic, I've got the extra health. Yeah, as you can see, these are really old masteries. This is probably not what I'd do right now. Actually, I'll be right back and I will redo these masteries. Alright guys, we are back, and here's what I did. I went down, I picked up Helm Smasher, alright? I also picked up, the general crit rate, crit damage masteries, and I picked up, Whirlwind of Death. Increases speed by 6 for each enemy killed by this champion, stacks across each round in a battle up to 18 speed. Right, I also picked up Sniper here because he's only got 50% chance to place his debuff, so that increases to a 55% chance. I picked up Master Hexer to extend the duration of the HP burns. I picked up Accuracy increasing masteries as well, so he's just going to smack harder with that Helm Smasher, guys. How do I have him built? Well, I have him in 2 pieces of Slayer for the crit damage and the crit rate, and I have him in speed gear, as well as 1 piece of Merciless, guys. Here are his stats. Right, 44k HP, 4.3k attack, which isn't crazy. 227 speed, crit capped with 234 crit damage, and 185 accuracy. Could we get that higher? Absolutely we could, right? Especially if we use like a attack ring here. We can just slap that on him, get him up to 200 accuracy. We've got attack, that's pretty good. And then that is crit damage. Do I have a crit damage amulet for orcs? I do not, so we're just gonna have to leave that the way it is. But, we've got an extra, he's at 200 accuracy now, which is fine for Dragon Stage 20. All right, so that's Ultimate Gaelic for you guys. Then we've got Skull Crusher. Now, I still use Skull Crusher in Clan Boss, and he's in Reflex. So Reflex set has a 40% chance to reduce a random skill cooldown by 1 turn. He only has 1 active skill. It places an ally protection and a counter attack on everyone except him for 2 turns, and then places unkillable on him. So he's a protector champ. He is fantastic on the A1, attacks 1 enemy with a heal reduction if the target's defense is lower than this champion's. And then he decreases the duration of all debuffs on this champion by 1 turn at the start of each turn. He's a great stun target for Clan Boss. I have him in Reflex to be able to get off the ally protection and the counterattack as much as humanly possible. I went down, I picked up defensive masteries because his A1 hits pretty hard, so I picked up defensive masteries for the counterattacks, and then I went down and I picked up War Master for the masteries. All right, he's also in 4-star Cruelty. So Geomancer here. Geomancer is in Perception, Speed, and Pinpoint gear, guys. I also went down. I picked up War Master. I picked up Master Hexer. I picked up Lore of Steel. What does Geomancer do? Well, on the A1, it has an AoE with a decreased accuracy, which is pretty good. He's got a A2 that removes all buffs from a target enemy, then attacks them, which is pretty nice. So buff strip on a single target. Steals all buffs instead if the target is under HP burn placed by this champion. Reduces the cooldown of the A3, Quicksand Grasp, by 2 turns if the target is killed by this skill while under HP burn placed by this champion. And then the A3 fully depletes the target's turn meter, fills this champion's turn meter by the amount the target loses, so turn meter steal, then has a HP burn and a weaken that books up to a 100% chance for 3 turns. All right, that's great. And that's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's on a 3-turn cooldown. That's great. And then the passive is where this guy really shines. Decreases the damage all allies receive by 15%. And reflects that damage onto each enemy under an HP burn debuff placed by this champion. If there are multiple champions on the team with this skill, only one will activate. Whenever this champion is attacked, deflects 30% of the damage instead. When deflecting damage on each enemy hit, has a 30% chance of dealing additional damage equal to 3% of the target's max HP. So this guy is a max HP damage dealer, guys. He's kind of got like built-in War Master whenever he's hit. He's going to be reducing the damage we take and all that fun stuff. So we've got our Geomancer, we've got our Skull Crusher, we've got our Ultimate Gaelic. We need our Ugo. Now, why is Ugo so good? Well, she has a A1 leech, right? Attacks 1 enemy with a leech. Chance increases by 5% for each alive enemy. On the A2, attacks all enemies. 75% chance, books to 100% chance of placing a decreased defense, big version, for 2 turns. Also has a 50% chance of placing a block buffs for 2 turns. The chance of placing the block buffs increases by 5% for each alive enemy. So a decreased defense and a block buffs, all on a 3-turn cooldown. Fantastic, fantastic skill. Then on the A3 here, removes all heal reduction debuffs from all allies, then removes 1 random debuff from all allies, then heals all allies by 20% of this champion's max HP. So partial cleanse here, and then a heal. So you're going to want a lot of HP on your Ugo because it's based on her max HP. If all allies are dead, revives them with 50% HP, then fills their turn meters by 50% instead. So she's got like a clutch revive if she's the last person standing. You want this champion tanky, boost that heal, and possibly get that revive. All right, and then the passive places a 30% increased speed and a block damage on this champion for 1 turn whenever this champion's last living ally is killed. So if she's the last one standing, she'll get block damage and increased speed, and then go right into her revive, right? How do I have her built? Well, I've got her in perception, I've got her in speed gear, and I've got her in pinpoint gear, and here are her stats, guys. I've got her with 60k HP, 2.6k defense, 239 speed, which is a bit slow, and 287 accuracy. Again, a little low on the accuracy. Once again, these are old builds for my account. Like this is not by any means my best gear, but we can still clear Dragon 20 with these champions, guys. It is absolutely amazing what we can do. And then she doesn't even need masteries. She doesn't need masteries. I would go pick up War Master if you can for the 60% chance of inflicting bonus damage equal to 10% of the target champion's max HP or 4% of the target's max HP when attacking bosses. I would go pick up War Master. I would pick up Lore of Steel. I might pick up, Master Hexer, right? If you have masteries on your Ugo. But for this, she does not need them. So not a huge investment in these champion guys. Not needing crazy gear, not needing crazy masteries, or masteries at all in some cases. But great champion. So Ugo's going to be our drop defense champion in the Dragon's Lair. She's also going to keep us alive with this heal on a 4-turn cooldown. All right, then Whisper. Whisper is a fantastic champion, guys. I once again made the mistake of feeding her, and I should never have done that because I missed out on a lot of progress. So if you are early on and you have a Whisper, please, for the love of all that is good, keep her. All right, on the A1, attacks 1 enemy, 50% chance of placing a weaken for 2 turns. This hits hard, guys. This hits very hard. On the A2, attacks 1 enemy, places increased attack and increased crit rate, 30% increased crit rate, so she only needs 70% crit rate on this champion for 2 turns before attacking if the target has higher max HP than this champion, which they always will because she's very squishy. Will ignore defense if the target is under weaken. That's a fully ignore defense. This attack will deal pure damage if the target is under weaken. This absolutely slams, guys, and that's on a 3-turn cooldown. Fantastic move. Fantastic move. She brings her own increased attack, her own increased crit rate, and she's got a weaken on her A1, so that's good synergy there. All right, then on the A3, attacks 1 enemy 2 times. This also hits very hard. Grants an extra turn if the target is under both decreased defense and weakened debuffs, right? Pair her with like a Lydia or something if you have a Lydia. If you don't, we're not going to worry too much about that, but this is a fantastic A3. It absolutely slaps. All of her skills slap super hard, and you're going to see just how good this champion is. All right, and then the passive has a 10% chance of granting an extra turn whenever this champion lands a critical hit, which is going to be always because she's a damage dealer. Increases damage inflicted on bosses by 20%. So she's going to deal more damage to bosses, and she's just going to be popping off extra turns, especially with this A3 that has an extra turn on targets under decreased defense and weaken. Of course, Geomancer is going to be bringing our weaken for the most part, other than her A1, right, with this A3. All right, so how do I have Whisper built? She is in lethal, Slayer, Feral, and Pinpoint because you want her with a bit of accuracy in order to place the weakens, right? Lethal gear, 10% crit rate, 25% ignore enemy defense, right? 1 piece of Slayer for the 5% crit rate, 1 piece of Feral for the 40% accuracy. Also, this is a crit damage amulet, which is great. And then 1 piece of Pinpoint for the 20 accuracy. And here are her stats, guys. We've got 30k HP, 4.2k attack. With 4.2k attack, this champion is putting out hits for over 100k. That is insanely good, guys. And then 1.7k defense, so very squishy here. With 214 speed, 93% crit rate. Again, she brings her own crit rate buff. And 216% crit damage. How did I do her masteries? Well, I went down, I picked up Helm Smasher, picked up the damage masteries. I did this, I think, is rapid response with 30% chance of increasing the turn meter by 10% when a buff cast by this champion is removed or expires. Very good. She's bringing her own buffs. I did the cooldown reduction. I took the accuracy. I took the Lore of Steel. Increased base stat set bonuses of all artifact sets that increase base stats by 15%. Increases multiplicative, not additive. Increases accuracy by 4 for each enemy alive to land that weaken better. And then Master Hexer to extend the duration of the weekend. Well, that was a lot, but that's everybody's build. So why don't we see this team in action in the Dragon's Lair, guys? I'm not going to do a super raid, but this team has about a 2-minute clear. So we'll be able to see it's an acceptable farming speed. Okay. So we'll be able to see all of those builds in action. All right, Ugo goes in with the Maelstrom rack. There is Ultimate Gaelic's skill. Again, not in crazy gear, but still hitting really hard. There we go. Whisper gets the kill there. Ugo's going to be placing Leech. Make sure we are healed up. There we go. 71k from Ultimate Gaelic's A2. Once again, not in my best gear. Imagine how hard that could hit if he was in my best gear, guys. Whisper counterattacking for 53k there. Once again, the Skull Crusher is bringing in damage negation, which is fantastic because otherwise Whisper would have died there. But the counterattacks are also super great as well because we have two fantastic damage dealers on the squad. There we go. The A1 hitting for 81k off Ultimate Gaelic. Guys, I think this dude is underrated. I really do. As you can see, he's placing the burns and everything. Then there, we made through the first wave in under a minute. Once again, Ugo with the AoE drop defense. Ultimate Gaelic hitting with his A1 for 50k. Pretty good there. There we go. We've got 84k from Whisper off the A2. We've got Cruelty coming in from Ugo. We've got the AoE from Ultimate Gaelic. Once again, hitting pretty hard. It's not the best damage in the world, but it's not terrible either. We've got the buff blocked from Ugo there, which is very nice. Whisper places the weaken. Whisper counterattacks with another weaken. Very nice. Ugo going in with the heal. Great. Skull Crusher gets the kill, hitting for 32k. That's pretty good, guys. That's pretty good, especially since he's not in any sort of damage build whatsoever. Geomancer going in, getting the kill. There we've got another kill. We've got an extra turn, and Whisper cleaning up everybody very nicely. All right, then Ugo goes in with that drop defense. Ultimate Gaelic going in. Geomancer placing the burn, placing the weaken, and now Geomancer is really starting to shine because he is an absolute boss killer, guys. Whenever he gets hit, he's going to be reflecting damage with the chance to do that enemy max HP damage. Very good. The dragon does his inhale ability, right? And now Whisper, when she gets a turn, if she uses the A3, she'll get an extra turn, which is fantastic. There we go. We've got 85k from Whisper. Guys, once again, not in crazy gear. Imagine what she could do if she was like in super end game gear, guys. Very good. Total of 70k from Ultimate Gaelic there. We've got a counterattack from Whisper, which is fantastic. There we go. We've got 178k from Whisper on that A2 there. That's from the Helm Smasher, of course. We've got 48k there from Ultimate Gaelic. Geomancer, his damage isn't coming from his skills. His damage is coming from his passive. Ugo putting up that drop defense. Very good, guys. Very good. The boss is always going to be under drop defense and weaken with this squad. There's Geomancer doing some damage from his passive as well. Whisper just getting a bunch of extra turns there. Hitting for over 100k on, I think that was two of them. There we've got Ultimate Gaelic doing a lot of damage, 72k. I should probably put him back in my clan boss team, see exactly what he can do, right? Whisper doing like great damage here. We'll be able to take a look at that on the breakdown in just a second. And there we go, guys. Let's break everybody down. Ultimate Gaelic, 1.2 million damage. Geomancer, 1 million damage. Whisper, 1.3 million damage. Ugo coming in as our biggest healer at 218k in healing, and Skull Crusher, of course, tanking. Well, no, he's not tanking the most damage. Whisper is tanking the most damage because she's the squishiest, so she's going to get targeted. Skull Crusher doing a very good job tanking damage here from the ally protection and everything, and we got a piece of very trash speed gear for our trouble, guys. That is your free-to-play way to farm Dragon 20. Of course, you can actually, some edits that you can make to this team. You could potentially drop, I don't have one of these champions, but you can drop Ugo for a Rector Droth and put in a Zargala as another damage dealer, as another drop defense champion. That team also did very well. I just found that Ultimate Gaelic with Ugo was the fastest. I did Ugo with Zargala. It wasn't as fast. Ultimate Gaelic was faster for the farm. So that's pretty great. Guys, that is the team. That is the squad. Epics only. No legendaries required. No crazy gear required. As like everyone was in a pretty old build, except Whisper. I just rebuilt her recently. But no crazy gear required, no crazy stats required. You can farm Dragon 20 using only epics, completely free to play. Guys, thank you for watching. I have been Felrus, and I will see you in another video.